all know that the term evaluation denotes different things in different contexts. In the education system, it refers to the assessment of the students or a course or of an education system as a whole. Evaluation serves different purposes at different levels. There are many types of evaluation, but in open and distance education system, one of an important area is program evaluation. We have with us Professor B.N. Koul, former Pro-Vice Chancellor, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Presently, he is Director of Distance Education Center, University of West Indies. We will understand more about program evaluation today. Professor Koul, what do you understand or how do we interpret program evaluation?
Program evaluation is simply a major process within the entire system of distance education. Basically, it is related with what you call quality assurance. That is the basic point to be kept in mind. Very often that point is missed. The idea is that you launch a program, you evaluate the program, and whatever faults you find in the process of that program and also the product of that program, you try to correct that and give feedback to the concern so that corrective measures are taken, and when the same program is kind of offered next time, it is improved. So it has to be a continuous process.
How it is different from course evaluation, or is it same as the program evaluation? Can we differentiate between both the things?
Well, basically there is no difference. In the context of the Indira Gandhi National Open University, a program is a collectivity of various courses, right? One program is the superordinate term. A program is something like, let us say, master's degree in library sciences. Now this program comprises a number of courses. So to evaluate a program, you have basically to evaluate courses. When you have evaluated all the courses that make the program, you have reached the stage of program evaluation. So there is basically no difference. You evaluate courses, put them together, and that is
evaluative complete program.
Yeah.
Which aspects of open and distance learning are normally covered in the program evaluation?
All the aspects. You start from planning. You see, basically when you talk of a distance education operation, what are the various stages or various kind of parts of it? You start with planning a program. After the program is planned, you then talk of the development of courses, which involves another set of people. And once the courses are developed, you have things ready for offering, you go for production. If it is print material, you go to printing press and get the material prepared. If it is audio or a video kind of program or a unit, you get it produced there. So the third stage is production. Then the fourth stage is implementation. The other term used for implementation normally is delivery of the course. So these four stages, all the four stages have to be evaluated. What is happening at the planning level? What is happening at the level of developing courses? What is happening at the level of production? And what is happening at the level of implementation or delivery? And that gives you the complete picture of a program. Yeah.
So do you think that these are the procedures and steps, we can say that the planning, development, production, implementation, these are the procedures and steps involved in program evaluation?
No, these are the stages involved in kind of launching a program. When you want to launch a program, you have to go through these four stages. Program evaluation is to evaluate each of these stages. Take the same example, master's degree in library sciences. Then you have meetings, you invite experts from all parts of the country and you propose a syllabus for that, and in the meetings you try to make adjustments, modifications, and ultimately you come to an agreement that this will be the shape of the program, these will be the courses, each course will be evaluated like this, and each program will be having components A, components B, component C. This is part of planning, and once you have taken this decision, then you go for developing the courses. You employ people, invite them, orient them how to prepare materials, and they sit down and then do that. They use the services of a curriculum or instructional designer to format materials. These are the stages that you have to evaluate. Now, what do you evaluate in planning? For example, in some course, you may invite experts for 10 meetings. So you have spent more money in planning that course than a course where the experts will come only for 2 meetings.
Okay.
So that is the kind of evaluation part of it. I would say, okay, in this program we spend this much, and in the other program we spent a slightly smaller amount as far as the planning part is concerned. Then the quality of planning itself can be evaluated. What was the kind of outcome, what was the nature of discussions and things of that kind. The data for this will normally be available within the faculty, because it is the faculty that will have planned this thing. So you would go through that planning process, how fast it was, how slow it was, how costly it was, how effective it was, what was the outcome of the planning part of it. Then you go to development. I mean, in a certain course you may employ 10 people to write your courses, and they may not give you the course for 5 years. You keep on waiting. Right? In certain other cases, things may come up very fast. So it has cost implications. It has also the implications of meeting the university's goals. You have decided and informed public that we are going to launch a course on a certain date, and you can't do that. So these are the things you will evaluate as far as the development is concerned. And then the costs and how fast it was done, all those things will be done. Then the same way production, how was it done? What was spent on it? How much time did it take? Did it meet the deadlines and the quality of it? What is ultimately, you have prepared a program. Is it good? Is it broadcast quality, or is it just for kind of local consumption? All that will come under program evaluation. So it is evaluating each stage. Now, I think the most important part, if you talk of priorities in program evaluation, goes to the area of learning. That is, what is the nature, what are the features of the learning that takes place. Now, for that you need to evaluate the courses you have prepared.
Okay.
You need to evaluate the quality of your tutorials. You need to evaluate the quality of the students' results. Say, for example, we may admit 100 students for a program. At the end of it, just 1 student clears the course. There is something wrong with the course, or the learning part of it, or the teaching part of it, or the components of it. Learning, therefore, has 3 components. That is, the course material has to be evaluated, then the quality of tutorials has to be evaluated, and any other component that makes the total kind of educational transaction, teaching and learning transaction, each bit of that has to be evaluated. And that would, therefore, to my mind, for a university like ours, that is a priority.
You said the course material has to be evaluated, the tutorials has to be evaluated, the counseling sessions has to be evaluated. Yeah. So do we do it after the course is launched and after 1 year, or immediately one can do it? Like, suppose once the course material is prepared, we do it immediately after that, or maybe we have some few tutorial sessions. We do it after that, or maybe after 1 session is over or 1 year is over, then we do it.
You see, it basically depends on how well you are prepared for the program and how you have conceived of the total program right at the planning stage. When we talk of evaluating course materials, there are various ways of doing that, various stages of doing that. For example, one way of evaluating course material is to go in for what is known as testing. Formative. You have prepared course materials. Now, before you offer these course materials to students, you get a sample set of students and then use the materials with them in an experimental situation and take on board their reactions and modify your materials accordingly. So you have, in a sense, evaluated your materials even before you have launched the program. But in developing countries, my experience is, I have noticed it, that hardly anybody goes for this kind of what you call formative testing while the courses are being prepared. Okay, if this is not possible, then at least when the program is piloted, that is offered for the first time, you can have questionnaires set in the materials itself.
Okay.
And you can get feedback, and that questionnaire shouldn't be a boring one, a long one. It should be a short one, 7-8 questions asking students their reactions about the materials, and ask them to kind of submit them to the unit concerned. So that could be a way of getting feedback from students. The same way you can have questionnaires for tutors to talk about their reactions about the course materials, and that can come to you, and that is how you evaluate course materials. The best time perhaps is to do this kind of evaluation when the course is piloted. Perhaps I should correct myself. The best way is to do it in the formative stage.
Okay.
Now if that is not possible, then the second best perhaps is in the pilot stage, the first year. Now if that hasn't been done, that sometime it has to be done, it should be done. You see, your first question, I go back to that. Program evaluation has a lot of significance. Things change from time to time, and therefore programs need to be evaluated. And at least once the program or course that you have launched, you should evaluate it at least once. Yeah.
Okay, you mean that at various levels we can do the program evaluation. Now, another thing it comes to our mind is that who should do this evaluation? Who should conduct this evaluation? The course writers, or the course coordinators, or the in charge of that person? Who should do that evaluation?
See, this would normally depend on the institutional structure. Different institutions do it in different ways. Given the little knowledge I have about the IGNOU operations, it can be done in perhaps 2 ways. There is a unit like Stride. Stride can take it up, and if I remember it well, one of the major functions of Stride when it was conceived was program evaluation. And I hope it continues like that. And I think, if I am not mistaken, the cue was taken from the British Open University Institute of Educational Technology. You see, Institute of Educational Technology started as a training unit who would train the academics for whatever is to be done in distance education, and also as a program evaluation unit.
Okay.
And they used the term surveys at that time, and they would evaluate each program as a routine at least once. So it can be done by a specialist unit like Stride. But once Stride does it and you prepare kind of reports or whatever, you have to be in close association, in close collaboration with the particular faculty where from the course has originated, because ultimately it has to be used by them. Right? So there should be a clear understanding between the faculty concerned and Stride as to what they want to evaluate, and Stride will have certain ideas of what should be evaluated. The two should move together. That is how it has to be done.
So you think once it is done, the consequent one can do the evaluation by the faculty or by the school where the course is, or it should be again with the Stride, or they can teach them how to do the evaluation?
You see, this is again, I said, it depends on what faculty has seen as their task. You see, if the job description of the faculty is contains program evaluation, okay, they have to do it. But what I remember about IGNOU is program evaluation has not been seen as a part of the faculty task.
Okay.
It was conceived as a part and parcel of the business of Stride. Right, but in collaboration with faculties, because they have to use the outcome of that, right?
Okay, now as you said, the Stride faculty can do it. So what are the various attributes what a good evaluator should have? Are there any attributes which we can adopt it?
You see, evaluator basically is a researcher. He should be a good researcher. For example, if instruments have to be prepared, how those instruments can then be looked into. in today's context, an instrument should be able to get onto the computer. You should be able to use computer to kind of manage the data that has been created by that instrument. So fundamentally, this person should be a good analyst, should be a good researcher, should know about research methodologies. And at the same time, given our context, because it is educational, he should, to my mind, be a good teacher, and also, to the extent possible, a good reporter. He should be able to report things purposefully, so that the faculty that needs it, or even the top management that needs to look into, can really communicate with the unit. Yeah.
Who are the possible users of this program evaluation? Is it the distance learners, or the faculty, or the institution as a whole?
There are two channels, direct and indirect. I think it is the top management of the university and the faculty that can use this program evaluation directly, and indirectly it is the students and the society at large that uses the outcome of this. You see, top management uses it in terms of modifying their planning, discovering how they can economize, how they can save money on this, how they can be more effective pedagogically as well as economically. And the faculty needs to look into it. Faculty should use this kind of evaluation for purposes of improving courses, making them more effective. And even, for example, the evaluation may indicate that the course components need to be changed. You see, for example, evaluation might show that tutorials in this particular course are meaningless. Then those tutorials have to be dropped. Now, to drop tutorials should be the decision of the faculty. But your survey should show that, okay, tutorials in this case are meaningless. Okay. In some other course, a survey might show, or this kind of evaluation might show, that they need more of tutorials. Then the survey would show, the report would show that this kind of program will become more effective if we have more tutorials. Okay. But the decision that more tutorials have to be planned and given will be that of the faculty. So it is like this. Therefore, the top management of the university and the faculty have to be the direct users of the, you see, this kind of evaluation, while as students and the society in general, they benefit indirectly, because the next set of students that will get improved programs and improved courses will benefit that way. And the society, because students will benefit, so the society benefits. Yeah.
You just said that the STRIDE should do the program evaluation, and maybe later they can collaborate with the faculty of the other schools also. So if STRIDE, IGNOU has to start its program evaluation, where should it begin from?
Oh, it has to. See, the first thing is, you said in your statement that STRIDE has to do it and later faculty has to get involved. I don't think that is so. Faculty should get involved right from the beginning. Yeah. For example, when the instruments are framed, initial discussion with the faculty is necessary. That is, what from their point of view would they like to look into this program, right? How would they like to survey the program? And then STRIDE will have its own norms. I mean, the kinds of things we talked about, to look into the course materials, their format, and the effectiveness of tutorials. That could be the interest of both the faculty and STRIDE. So, you see, collaboration with the faculty has to start right from the beginning. Then you said, when is the right time to start it? As I said a minute back, that it is program evaluation has to be seen as a part of quality assurance, and quality assurance kind of process starts right from planning stage. So if there are proper procedures and proper kind of what you call formats developed, certain things have to be recorded, for example, at the planning stage, which can be given to us either through administration or through the faculty. For example, how many meetings were attended, right? How many people participated in those meetings? What was the result? How much time did it take to plan a program? It gets recorded on those forms, and it remains as data with you. So it starts with right from the beginning of the course. One has to get involved in that, and those sheets and kind of data record formats have to be prepared right from the beginning. So once a course is conceived or a program is conceived, program evaluation starts that very day. Okay. My emphasis, as maybe that, I mean, perhaps you mistook me on that, I talked of priority. I talked of priority, that if the university has shortage of staff or some other constraints or whatever, at least the learning part should be evaluated. That is the course materials, the quality of tutorials, and whatever else is happening as far as students are concerned, the results, and what is happening to assignments, what is our turnaround time. Okay. I mean, is it that we give an assignment and then we return it after 5 months, things of that kind, which is the part of what we call teaching and learning transaction. Okay. That is a priority. If we are not doing evaluation as far as planning and development is concerned, but the transaction part must be definitely evaluated. So if we want to ignore the earlier parts, at least the transactional part, teaching and learning, that should be evaluated. So in that sense, you can say it starts there.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
What should be our approach to data collection? We should ask the course writers to fill in, or the faculty involved should fill in the data?
See, it is like this. If you look at the history of institutions of this, faculties have normally come from traditional settings.
Right.
They haven't done these things. And the function of units like STRIDE or Institute of Educational Technology have been to work as catalysts. And if a unit like STRIDE knows about these things, it then falls on their shoulders to prepare those forms, at least, right, to give how data is, and then you can pass it on to them or administration. And in fact, I have been talking about it time and again, there has to be some legislation also about it. You see, at some stage we have to say that, look, we are bothered about quality assurance, and one of the major instruments of quality assurance within distance education is program evaluation, and therefore it is a must. It is as much a must as launching a program, as admitting students. Once that is done officially, and that is what I say legislation is necessary, then it doesn't become a hurdle. And if STRIDE has to do anything for it, basic effort has to be done once. That is preparing those forms. Okay, to evaluate planning, we need this kind of data. To evaluate development of courses, we need this kind of data. To evaluate courses, we need this kind of data. To evaluate tutorials, we need this kind. Those formats have to be prepared and related to computer data storing, that kind of thing, because you need computers these days, and use them. Give them to faculty, give them to administration, use them yourselves. Yeah.
Okay, another question it's coming to my mind is that we, as you said, there are different various stages: planning, development, implementation, and so on and so forth, production also in between. So like in production, when we are saying that printed material, we are it's printed once, or the audio cassettes or the video cassettes, it's done. So do you think we should need to involve the media people also in that, who have done it, or the faculty can do, who are involved in the program evaluation, those people they can, or we need to involve other people also from the media sector?
I think yes. I mean, you have to involve everybody who is getting on to it. Maybe I become a bit anecdotal on this. That might give you the idea what perhaps I am trying to convey. And again, my point of reference is the British Open University Institute of Educational Technology. When they first went into program evaluation, they went on to it on their own. That is, whatever the unit thought should be done, they started doing that. And once they prepared the reports, now reports were entirely oriented to their own kind of orientation. What they wanted to, they had written there. And what happened, the faculties, the users, as I said some time back, the users. Faculty, top management, couldn't make head and tail of that. What is being said, okay, there is data, these averages and this and that. The same thing happened when they tried to contact the media people. Now, the idea of collaborating with these people and involving with them is right from the beginning, is to know what are their concerns, you see. You may have one kind of concern as far as the media production is concerned. The media people may have a different kind of concern, right? You might be more worried about the content you want to give in. They might be worried more about the set. Okay. Now, a compromise has to come in. When you send out a questionnaire, will you put more questions questions on the set or setting, or will you put more questions on content? Therefore, you have to talk to them, and that kind of thing. And as I said, an initial effort will take time, and it will be strenuous. But once you have worked on these lines for 1 year or 2 years, things smooth out. You see, for example, the kind of effort that was put in for formatting materials in earlier days was much more difficult than it is today, because people have now become familiar, right? So they needn't come to you every time to talk about what you say, a student activity or something like that. They need to come to you again only if you are giving something new.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Koul, for your comments and making us understand about the program evaluation. Just to say that we will have more programs on program evaluation, and hope we'll have much more interaction with Professor Koul in future. Thank you.